Right off the bat, I would like to say that many people think that Republicans and conservatives are the same, but they're not. Republicans are people who just vote a certain way, i.e., vote for the major Republican in the election, while conservatives, on the other hand, look at their politicians and say which one will conserve our values and pass laws to help us with our daily life, aka making sure that babies are not killed, marriage is not changed in ridiculous ways, etc. With that distinction out of the way, who are some of these examples? Well, major Republican media personalities would be Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Sean Hannity, Jesse Waters, and Gutfield, while the major personalities that are conservative would be Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, and Megyn Kelly. When it comes to the reporting, what differentiates them? I would say just about everything. Republicans like to focus on America in America only, and cover only the things that are happening here, as if there's no other place on earth that actually matters. They so strongly believe this that if you mention another country while that said country is going through a war of their own, which results in death, then they would say that we have bigger fish to fry here, and that what's happening abroad does not matter until we pay attention to what's happening in our country first. Which we can say, yeah, technically we should be focusing on here first, but also at the same exact time, it's just crazy because we can talk about the southern border all day long, which we will get to at the end of the video. It doesn't mean much of anything because of the fact that it will not change. As much as we would like to see Joe Biden in the White House pay attention to the border and people coming across it illegally, you can't teach carefulness. Just like abroad, talking about something doesn't change the fact that it's actually happening first and foremost. On the other side, conservatives would like to be covering American news plus news abroad because that's what's going on. Just like the difference between a political commentator and a news reporter. There's a difference. In a world where things are changing definitions every few seconds, it would be nice to stick to definitions of words for at least 1 second. As much as people would like to hide the reality of the fact that other places can and do dictate the prices we pay here and what happens here. Take for instance China, which makes 55% of American goods. If they were to get into a war and they stopped supplying us with their worthless crap, then everything in America would be affected. That's because 55% is a lot. Now that I think about it, it's kind of like the situation happening right here and right now in the Red Sea, where 10 to 15% of global trade and 30% of container trade is brought through. And this is in the Suez Canal, located in the Red Sea, which will cause inflation here in America, no doubt about it. So if we only focused on American politics and neglected everything else, i.e. the fighting happening and the events happening abroad, then you would not know what's happening and you would be left in the dark when the prices skyrocketed here. This is why people like Ben Shapiro have covered the conflict in the Middle East with Israel and Hamas, while at the same time covering America's problems here. That, by the way, is neglecting the fact that Israel is allies with America. Nonetheless, the war that started in October 7th was bound to get other countries involved, just like with the Houthis taking over boats carrying crude oil, the same oil used to produce gas for our very cars. They flaunt their success for doing so online and posted it all over the Houthis' Twitter account and all of their social media. This is because of the fact that they wanted to actually brag to America what they are capable of. This is exactly why it's very important for us to see all sides of the story before anything else happens, and why it's important for us to actually pay attention so we're not left in the dark. Also, this is exactly why I get annoyed at the Republican news commentators for attacking people who are trying to show what's going on all around the world. Take, for instance, this clip of an interview with Tucker Carlson.
I mean, there are people, and I stopped reading any of it, but there are people on the right who have spent the last 2 months every single day focused on a conflict in a foreign country as our own country becomes dangerously unstable on the brink of financial collapse, with tens of millions of people who shouldn't be here in the country. We don't know their identities or the purpose of their being here. Like stuff that's could destroy the country for real and make it impossible for my kids to live here. They've said nothing about that, and they're focused with laser intensity on foreign conflicts. And I'm like, at some point, I've got 4 kids. If I'm so caught up in the problems of my neighbor's children and completely ignoring my own children as they get addicted to drugs and kill themselves, you know, I'm not against helping my neighbor's kids, but clearly I don't love my kids.
Where he attacked Ben Shapiro, a Jewish person, for caring about Israel. It makes me so mad to see this infighting happening between a person that I used to highly respect. Anyways, after the Houthis started causing a ruckus in the Red Sea, the United States decided to defend some of the container ships going through the Suez Canal. Of course, the Houthis didn't like this and said that if the United States gets involved, then it would not be good, which is laughable because this is what the Houthis posted on their very social media. Of course, the United States didn't care and they retaliated. They did this by blowing up some of their supply back at their base. This caused the Houthis to attacked the United States ship, which then the United States fired back by drowning 3 Houthis' owned ships. Now, Iran, which Joe Biden sent $10 billion to a few months ago, is now sending in a military warship to fight the United States because the Houthis is backed by Iran. The United States has a couple of choices here. They can run like a coward, or they can defend their right of defense. I advise the latter, in which case they would need backup and would probably cause a war, all because Hamas wanted to kill and rape 1,100 Israeli citizens on October 7th. Before we get into our southern border situation like we said that we would, if you haven't already heard of my brand new show, Don't Trust What You See, it is back and better than ever. Here's a teaser of episode 1. As I talked about a few weeks ago on my show, we're facing the biggest problem to ever face a single generation. What might that be, you ask? Addiction. Not just any addiction, but mental addiction. This is because there has never been a time in history where obscene books, movies, shows, and now online videos have been within a couple of taps of a screen. The next episode will be out in 2 weeks. Speaking about our southern border, we have a report from the Daily Wire here. We have Biden's border crisis. 15 states have smaller populations than total illegal southern border crossings in 2023. Decrying the open border policies of the Biden administration has been a constant theme for Republicans during the last 3 years. Little changed in 2023 with the influx of illegal immigrants continuing strong as Border Patrol encountered roughly more people at the southern border than the population of the entire state of New Mexico. According to the official statistics from the Customs and Border Protection, Border Patrol has had 2,240,056 encounters with foreign nationals from all over the world at the southern border in 2023. This includes official recorded encounters by CBP from January to November and reported numbers from December. Below is a breakdown of the southern border encounters in 2023 according to CBP statistics. December numbers are based on a report from Fox News. The total number of reported encounters is greater than populations on an individual level, not total, of 15 states, including Wyoming, Vermont, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Delaware, Rhode Island, Montana, Maine, New Hampshire, Hawaii, West Virginia, Idaho, Nebraska, and New Mexico. This includes roughly 31,458 individuals from China, 137,389 individuals from Colombia, 33,135 from Cuba, 106,635 from Ecuador, 59,639 from El Salvador, 225,998 from Guatemala, 69,095 from Haiti, 213,853 from Honduras, 41,134 from India, 671,128 from Mexico, 16,690 from Nigeria, 55,276 from Peru, and 96,449 from Russia, 14,135 from Turkey, and 302,736 from Venezuela. In 2023, videos of massive caravans heading towards the United States continued to circulate, showing that many still see the border as open, even as the Biden administration worked to block state efforts to protect their own sovereignty. The year saw everything from the expiration of Title 42 to the release of hundreds of thousands of foreign nationals into the United States. Below is the biggest trend lines in the continuing border crisis from the last year. Crossings surged to record highs. The Biden administration set all kinds of records at the southern border in 2023, and none of them were good. Throughout the year, multiple records of monthly crossings were set, leading up to December, when crossings reportedly hit an all-time high of 276,000. The December record was set within 3 days, still left in the year, and marked a large uptick from November, which in itself was a monthly record. Quote, "We are now at over 760,000 migrant encounters since October 1st, making the first quarter of fiscal year 2024 also the highest ever recorded. What's the population size bigger? That's a population size bigger than Seattle in just 3 months." Fox News reporter Bill Milligan posted on X. All records being blown out of the water under the Biden administration as the crisis get worse, not better. Other records set included Chinese nationals crossing the southern border at the fastest pace ever, and a recorded 50,000 Venezuelans illegally crossing into the United States in September. States send National Guard to border. To help with the crisis on the border, states from Tennessee to Arizona continue to send National Guard troops to the border. Arizona Democrat Governor Katie Hobbs ripped into Biden for his handling of the border earlier this month when announcing her plans to send the National Guard to the border. Quote, "Yet again, the federal government is refusing to do its job to secure our border and keep our communities safe. Hobbs said in a statement, "With this executive order, I am taking action where the federal government won't. Illegal immigrants sent to blue cities." Another trend that continued in 2023 was red states sending illegal immigrants into blue cities like Chicago, New York City, and Los Angeles, all places that have backed lax immigration policies. Texas bussed a few tens of thousands of illegal immigrants, across the country to Democrat cities, prompting them to grapple with the effects of the Biden border policies. In New York City, Mayor Eric Adams was forced to make budget cuts to the city's education department in order to deal with the overflow of illegal immigrants into the Big Apple. Adams and fellow Democrat Mayor Brendan Johnson of Chicago have been sharply critical of the Biden administration and have demanded federal funding to deal with the crisis. Now they know what the border cities and the states are going through. A September investigation by the Daily Wire highlighted how the development's marketing practices appeared to be aimed at the people who were in the United States illegally. The development sells inexpensive plots of land at sky-high interest rates, targeting buyers such as illegal immigrants who are ineligible to apply for traditional loans. The report garnered responses from prominent Republicans like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and legacy outlets such as Fox News and others. Americans continue to suffer because of illegal immigration. Across the country, from Texas to New York, Americans continue to suffer from the impacts of the illegal immigration. According to a report from the House Republicans, illegal immigration costs the American taxpayer up to $451 billion. Each taxpayer is on the hook for an average of $956 due to the illegal immigration, the report said. The cost comes as inflation has remained high, especially in relation to consumer goods. In November, dozens of seniors in New York, including 94-year-old Army veteran named Frank Tomaro, was reportedly evicted from the senior center, which was then converted into a migrant center. That's just disgusting here. Foreign nationals have been accused of horrific crimes across the country, including murder. Earlier this month, an illegal migrant was arrested in connection to the murder of a 16-year-old Texas high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Mendura. Also in Texas, a 50-year-old illegal immigrant was arrested and charged with illegally fatally shooting two sisters in the head within their Dallas area home. In Nashville, a twice deported illegal immigrant from Honduras was charged with murder after a man was found in a burned out vehicle. The man was identified as a member of the Sur 13 gang and affiliated with the Sureños Locos Criminales. A Honduran national was arrested in Ohio after allegedly crashing a minivan into a school bus last week, resulting in dozens injured and the death of an 11-year-old boy. So it's just crazy. This year has been, there's no other word to put it, but an invasion. A couple weeks ago, we actually talked about the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, actually summing up 2023 in one word, and he said New York, which is actually two words, and actually funny because that's what I said on Twitter at the end of the year. I said if I was to say 2023 in one word, I would say New York. Now, if I was to be serious here, I would say invasion. This has been an invasion of our southern border, and we can, like I said at the beginning, we can pay attention to two things now. We can say that it was a devastation. We can say that it was an invasion, a disappointment, a complete ludicrous, so many things to describe this year, and it was just a disappointment at bare minimum because of the fact that the Joe Biden administration failed us, the people, multiple times, and not just us, the people, but around the world. It failed our allies in Afghanistan. It failed countless of other people. It failed Ukraine by not being tough enough on Russia. It failed now Israel, and now it's going to fail in Asia with Taiwan soon to be taken over by China. And if Joe Biden does win the election in 2024, we will see the war happening on Taiwan's doorstep because Xi Jinping already said that he is looking forward to a war with Taiwan. So he wants that land. Xi Jinping wants Taiwan because of the fact that he knows how so many microchips are produced there in Taiwan. This is exactly why we just produce the microchips here, and then we send it to America, and then we code them and everything like that. But this is more than an example to prove that we need to actually rely on America for a lot more of our products. Just exactly why, at my shop.orijostudios.com, you can actually get a bunch of shirts that are actually made here in America. And right now we are actually running a sale that is actually 15% off. You use code New Year and you can save 15%. And that's exactly why we have free shipping everywhere in America, because America is the best country. Now, also in the news, we actually have an earthquake happening in Japan. An earthquake actually happened, if you did not know, over the weekend, which resulted in 100,000 residents to evacuate. This was a 7.5 magnitude earthquake, and it resulted in waves of about 1 meter long. It resulted in about 1 meter along Japan's west coast in neighboring South Korea. The Japan's agency JMA initially issued a major tsunami warning, its first since March of 2011, in which that earthquake and tsunami killed almost 20,000 people. It later was downgraded and eventually cut to an advisory. It was the strongest quake in the region in more than 4 decades. According to the United States Geological Survey, houses were destroyed, fires broke out, and army personnel was dispatched to help with rescue operations, government spokesperson told Reuters. An elderly man was pronounced dead after a building fell in Shika town in Iskwika. I'm going to completely butcher that name, I already know. Bad broadcaster NTV reported, citing local police. Local media footage from the prefecture showed a building collapsing in a plume of dust in the city of Shuko, and a huge crack in the road in Wajima. I'm butchering that name again, where panicked-looking parents clutched their children. One witness on social media platform X posted footage of the Kreta Grain Shrine near the coast of Hikuru, I'm butchering that name, of course, rocking in the earthquake as a crowd of visitors watched it swaying, she claims. This is scary. Millions of Japanese traditionally visit shrines in temples on January 1st to mark the start of the new year. In nearby Kanazawa, a popular tourist destination, images showed the remnants of a shattered stone gate shrine, the entrance of another shrine. As anxious worshippers looked on, the tremor was also felt in the mountains of the neighboring Nagorno Prefecture. Quote, the snow from the electric wire came down, and also from the roof it fell down, and all of the cars are shaking, and everybody was panicked. Johnny Wu, a Taiwanese tourist visiting Nagorno for a skiing holiday, told Reuters. More strong quakes in the region where seismic activity has been simmering for more than 3 years, could occur over coming days. JMA official Toshiro Shimoya, I'm butchering that name. Russia and North Korea also issued tsunami warnings for some areas. The Japanese government said that as of Monday night, it has ordered more than 97,000 people in 9 prefectures of the west coast of Japan's main island to evacuate. They were set to spend the night in sports halls, in schools, gyms, commonly used as evacuation centers in emergencies. Kanazawa resident said that she had evacuated to nearby elementary school with her husband and 2 children soon as after the earthquake hit. Classrooms, stairwells, hallways, and gyms were all packed with evacuees, she said. We haven't decided when we will return home yet, she told Reuters when contracted by telephone. Strong earthquake. This is 7.6. Like I said, it hit Japan, but then the epicenter was more near the equator in the middle of the North American plate and the Eurasian plate and the tectonic plate boundary. That's where the line was right here. If we are seeing this, it's in the Sea of Japan, of course. And this is a very, very scary situation. We hope that not a lot of people actually resulted in, we hope that this situation did not result in a lot of death. But we know, looking back in 2011, almost 20,000 people were killed in this situation. So hope to God, right now, we do not know how many people actually got killed from this event. Maybe by the time that this gets released, this information will be updated. But as of right now, I'm recording this on 6:22 p.m. on January 1st. It's a Monday. I'm going to be releasing this, obviously, on Tuesday morning. So as of right now, I do not have a clue on how many people actually died. So I will update you guys if there is anything. But other than that, that's going to be it for this show. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, please click the link down below and you can see my brand new show that I just released on my brand new channel, Araujo Studios. This channel used to be called the Araujo Studios, but I think that it's more fitting to just call this channel the Demetrius Araujo Show, and then I'm gonna have that channel dedicated towards documentaries and highly edited and highly entertaining content to actually storytell in a thought-provoking way. If you do want to see the first episode, like I said, it's going to be available over there, and everything on my store, it supports both channels. And my whole entire media company, Araujo Studios, is called shop.araujostudios.com. Again, use code NEWYEAR for 15% off and free shipping everywhere in America. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for enjoying. And if you did like this episode and you do want to see more, please like and subscribe down below, because I do post new episodes of my show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The reason why I'm posting on a Tuesday is because yesterday, which was Monday, I did not post. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for enjoying, and I hope they have a great rest of your day. Bye. This episode of the Demetrius Araujo Show is actually produced by the Araujo Studios, copyright 2023. If you do want to see more information, head to araujostudios.com. Thank you all, and have a great one.